What's up, y'all? I got a crazy supernatural horror for y'all today. This is The Entity, released in 1982 in the UK and spring 1983 in the United States. Alright, let's get to it.
Tell me, is this the first time something like this has ever happened?
I don't know. There was no one there.
So, in other words, it wasn't a real man.
Do you hear that?
And he felt like a man?
A big man. But when my son came in, there was nobody there. Did you hear it?
Hear what?
Thought I was dreaming.
And what do you think happened?
Alright, y'all. So, this is a great movie. I'll start off saying that. Definitely worth a watch. Yeah, let's get into it. So, yeah, an 80s movie. It's definitely got that 80s movie vibe. It's very, the scenes and the cinematography is really good, and it's really classic. Got that old school vibe to it. So, yeah, I love 80s movies as well. Let's look at the cast. So, you got the main character, Carla. She's basically being terrorized at night, and whenever this thing decides to terrorize her, and it's pretty scary. It's like some type of demon, some type of entity, hence the name. But yeah, so supernatural horror. You got this fucking demon messing with this chick, and it's a good movie. It really draws your emotions in. You feel bad for her, and what she's going through. But yeah, back to the cast. I'm rambling. You got a psychiatrist she's seeing, which is it kind of makes me think he had a crush on her, but he obviously really just cared about her and wanted to help her. But yeah, this psychiatrist, Dr. Schneiderman, Phil Schneiderman, Ron Silver. So yeah, that was a great performance by Ron Silver. Great acting in this film too. And yeah, Carla is played by Barbara Hershey. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's really great in this film. Great acting. Yeah, we'll get more to that later. You got Dr. Snyderman, the psychiatrist, Ron Silver. You got, so Carla's son, Billy. He's like kind of a 16-year-old, I'd say, kid. It's a really interesting dynamic in this movie, with the family being there while she's being attacked. It's pretty crazy and traumatizing. But yeah, you got Billy, her son David Labozia, some type of Hispanic guy, I'm pretty sure. Again, good acting throughout. I didn't really have a problem with anybody in this movie. You know. And for a movie, I think as long as the main characters hold it together, things work out for the most part. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to mention. Alex Rocco was Jerry Anderson. Jerry is an older guy Carla's seeing, and he comes back after a trip later on in the film. Yeah, so he's a good character in this film. I liked having him in there, and that they brought her boyfriend into this as well for him to see what happens, and he just basically leaves, says, I don't want any part of that demon. Yeah, so now we'll get on to the film and, just some of the things that happened, some of the dynamics, some of the interesting things I liked. So it's, like I said, good cinematography, good directing, and good visuals, I'd say. I liked that it was based on a true story. Whether it was actually demons terrorizing this lady or not, who knows. But either way, it's a pretty fucking scary movie. I wouldn't watch it with kids or, anyone that's shy to these type of things, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so if you want to feel scared, feel the emotions, it's a good film to put on. I'd say story-wise, it's really good. You feel for the main character, Carla. She's a single mother, and, she's doing good. She's doing the best for herself, working hard. And then for whatever reason, this thing comes and starts terrorizing her, starts, raping her. Which is crazy. This is another part of the movie that's really fucked up to me, and, why I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. There's a lot of, sex or sexual abuse, if you want to say that, but, yeah. Like I said, it's a scary movie. It's gonna shake you up. It's an 80s movie, so you gotta keep that in mind when you're watching it. Things are a bit different, maybe with the acting style or whatever. I mean, it's a timeless movie, regardless. It's really good. Yeah, the lady is really cute, Carla. The actor's really good, Barbara Hershey. Now, some of the other things I liked were how they brought the psychological aspect into this with the psychiatrist, and he was really trying to look out for his patient, and he really cared about Carla, but he was looking at it from a logical perspective in psychiatry, and basically explained that these were delusions to Carla from suppressed trauma or abuse, so he was trying to get her into a psych ward, I believe, but she wouldn't go. She was convinced, no, I'm not crazy, this thing is really there, and it's doing these things to me. So yeah, it was a scary movie. Like, if you're into supernatural stuff, you'll really like it, like demons and stuff. I'm not really into that too much anymore, but it was still scary enough for me to be like, whoa. You really feel for her. You're like, oh my god, I want this to be over. Because, yeah, it's pretty disturbing, but, yeah, I'd say that it's worth a watch if you're a horror fan, if you're a supernatural horror fan. It's one of those films where you gotta think about who it really appeals to. It's like only horror fans, only supernatural fans, so, if it's not something you like, don't watch it, but yeah, it's a good movie. Just rambling at this point, but yeah, some of the things that I didn't like about it were just the too much abuse throughout, and kind of you feel helpless because it's by a ghost you can't see, so you're like, well, what the fuck do you do to get rid of this thing, and then, no one believes her. Her friends think she's on dope or something. So yeah, just the abuse and the, what else? I mean, I liked at the end how it kind of, it levels off, but I wasn't really satisfied with the ending either. I think there could have been more to it, or a more shock at the end. But, you know, overall it's good. It's a rough movie for most people, so that's why it's going to get a lower rating. But if you're, you don't mind that stuff too much, you might like it more, and it might get a higher rating, from you. But I'm trying to give it an overall, roundup for everyone. And right now it's at like a 6.5, a 7, just because some of the things in there were not the best. Like, I'm not convinced that this demon's doing all this shit in front of her kids and stuff, but if it is, that's really fucked up, so I don't know. If you're into demons and stuff, it's probably gonna scare you more, but for me it was like, yeah, but still scary enough where you can, get baked, and it's probably gonna spook you a bit. Alright, I think that's it for me on this one. I don't know if there's anything more to say, but yeah, I guess I can mention a few more things about the film. So yeah, it was based on a true story of a woman in 1976, in LA, I believe, or a town just outside LA, who was tormented by a being in her sleep, So I thought that was pretty interesting. And it also has a lot of elements of like family dynamic, like love between the kids and the mother. The psychiatrist looking out for his patient, I thought is really cool. And there's also these other psychiatrists that they're psychiatrists, so they're doing like paranormal psychiatry, I guess. Yeah, so that's really cool. I think it's cool how they blended science, real life science and stuff, with these supernatural visions. And I think it's cool how they were trying to capture it. But yeah, these things are, they're unexplained. If you believe in these sort of things, like I said, you'll most likely be more interested in this film, or more scared, or, whatever. But yeah, so, okay, sorry, it was based on a 1974 case. The lady's name was Doris Bither. So it's, yeah, she was, I guess, she's seen these visions, or this entity, something attacking her. To be honest, who knows? But this is a spooky film. It's worth checking out. It's only getting the lower rating because, like I said, it doesn't appeal to everybody, and it's kind of disturbing just to see those things like in a film. Even though that this is, it's supposed to be a slasher channel, it's just like the rape and the abuse. Sometimes it's too much. Or maybe I'm just watching too many of these things at this point. But no, it was a good film. I definitely appreciated the performance by Barbara Hershey as Carla, and just, she was pretty convincing as, not sure whether to blame herself, like she is crazy, or, but in the back of her mind, she knows, she's seen these things. Well, didn't see them, but felt them physically, and was awake and present. Just a crazy film, It might appeal to, yeah, it might appeal to, I don't know, just people who are the victims of sexual abuse or stuff like that. Like, it's probably going to hit them harder, I should say. It wouldn't really appeal to them, but it's like you're reliving traumas watching this thing. It's fucked. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of this one. If you want to watch a completely fucked up film, just holla at your boy. Alright, peace.